Gumby had been working on his train set doing up a story about himself as a driver. He had many papers to fill up and a plan to make his own film, and where could he send it? He could send it to YouTube as long as he had his own music, for these days it was sensitive. It was as he whipped up his empty tape that he suddenly forgotten something. He needed a place to get an idea, and it has to involve animals. I need my own animals, he would think to himself. It has to have not the same animals. Gumby suddenly remembered the bookshop he knew on the first day before. A bookshop where adventures could begin. That's where I'll go to, he told himself. He left his house and went on his walk. Soon he arrived at the bookshop. For once he hardly paused. As if by magic, the secret door appeared. "Good morning, sir," he said. "Which book are you liking to buy after reading?" "What about the Lion King book?" said Gumby. "I haven't read that one." "You know the way then, sir," said the secret door as he opened himself to let Gumby through. Gumby read the Lion King book. Once he finished it, another door appeared. But it was not the secret door. It was the door that could lead to an adventure. He found himself in Africa, where there was long grass and many animals living in it. "This is extraordinary," said Gumby. "I've been here when the astrobots were lurking about, and Minga was up a tree." He wanted to explore this animal land, for it was full of surprises. Without hesitation, he edged himself to the end of the long grass. As soon as he got to the end, he noticed a little lake, and with it were its little playmates. One of them was a lion cub, a hippo, and a leopard. They were Kion, Beshti, and Fuli, and they have marks on themselves. Lion marks they made out of the mud. Suddenly, a bird named Ono came behind Gumby, giving him a surprise, and fall into the lake. "Oh!" he cried. Hold it, oh no, said Kion. He doesn't seem harmful. Hello, you lot. I'm glad you don't take me for an enemy. I'm Gumby. Thomas told us about you, said Beshty. It's the first time for us to meet someone out of clay. We're sorry for making an ambush, said Foley. We have to check for anyone who is known to be an enemy. After Gumby dried himself out, they were soon talking about what was of interest to them. Kion told him about how they met Thomas when he came to Africa. Outside games like knock down a wall and hide and seek. Gumby told them about his adventures of going in books. You don't read books because you don't have a library, said Gumby. Thomas brings us them, said Kion. We sometimes like to learn the steam trains that are in Africa. We sometimes like to venture out of the animal kingdom if we like to find an adventure, said Beshty. What's that large rock with the lion named Simba? He must be the new king. Oh, you know him? What a surprise. And that rock has a grand name, Pride. The lions call it Pride Rock, said Kion. My father took my grandfather's place when he died in the gorge with a stampede of gnu's. That's Mufasa, said Gumby. I am sorry Terry lost him. But he has friends like Zazu, Timon and Pumbaa, even Rafiki. I don't suppose you know that barnyard too, said Beshty. Simba told us never to wander in it, even though the track goes there. He didn't tell us the name of it, but Kion did, said Oh No. They call it the Elephant Graveyard. It's never a friendly place for him, even for us, if we ever want to venture in it. I haven't heard about it either. What lives in it? Asked Gumby. Well, let me see, said Kion. There are hyenas that eat any one of us. They're a hungry lot. I sometimes let Dad scratch their faces, like what happened to Shenzi, he went on. She's a sly one for character, and Banzai, he's grouchy, and lastly Ed, he's stupid. I might have a look at it myself, if you come with me, said Gumby. Though we can't fight the big hyenas. Well, you're wise enough, but we'll ask Dad first. Simba came up when he heard the talk. Did I hear you say you were wanting to visit the elephant graveyard? He asked. Yes, Dad, said Kion. Gumby wants to see what it's like. We said about the tracks that go there, said Beshty. I'm looking there myself, so you can visit it. The big hyenas are away, but watch out for the little one, said Simba. The friends walked to the elephant graveyard. As soon as they got there, they could see a lot of bones of animals never making out of short living lying everywhere. My word, said Gumby. My sister wouldn't like to come here. It's too dangerous for her. It's haunting, said Erno. I'll check to see if that little hyena's about. So he didn't air check. No sign of him. Where shall we explore? The track leads us to that cave. I think we could take a look as long as we stick together, said Fully. They went walking into the cave, listening to the wind howling through the mouth. They did realize that it was not only a dangerous place, but an empty home of Simba's uncle, Scar, who was long forgotten. If he were here now, he would be surprised to see his second nephew. That's the end of the line. What shall we look for? Asked Beshty. Say, who's that stuck in the burn cage? That's Percy, said Gumby. Let's get him out. They moved the burn cage, freeing Percy from his trap. Thanks you lot, he said. Some sly hyenas trapped me after I delivered the food scraps. I'll bet it was Shensi. I'm supposed to get home to Tasman Sodor. They don't know the state, and Simba may like a fight with them. I'll tell him that, Percy. Now we know it's a troublesome place. They're not back yet. One isn't away, said Gumby. There's that little hyena. Oh, drat! You feed that engine from my trap. Oh, so it was you that trapped him. I think you should treat engines right when they bring in food scraps. He bringing in food? Oh, I didn't know he would. What's going on? Oops, they're home. We best get out of here before they ask us. They left the elephant graveyard back to Pride Rock. When they got home, Gumby told Simba he and his friends found Percy as a prisoner stuck from a trap of bones. I might have known they would be up to their tricks, said Simba. They can't trick engines like this when they deliver scrap foods. Thank goodness we wanted to visit, said Kion. If we didn't, he would have been mocked a lot. They remind me of a dinosaur's egg, said Gumby, when it was nearly eaten. We might give you this picture of our Lion Guard's mark, said Beshti. It'll remind you of your visit to us. Thanks. I like the way you make art. Gumby said goodbye to his friends and left. When he came back to the lake, as if by magic, a door appeared. It was the secret door. Time to Colpap, sir. Gumby went through the door and, as he expected, found he was back in the reading room of the shop. He closed the book and the other door vanished. Africa sure is a hot place, said Gumby. I'm glad I didn't melt. Well, sir, many weather temperatures can change from warm to cool, said the secret door. You've been to it 2 times. Will you come back again? Of course, said Gumby, very soon. When he got home, Gumby looked at his Farland art Kion made for him. I wonder how they can do it without paint brushes, he wondered. It looks cool to remember, so I'll keep it with my collection. I better get back to my movie making.